unapologetically, which you don't come to play. And today I am in mommy mode. Per usual, my baby's over here. Daddy's at work, so it's just us for today. For right now, actually. My daughter's about to come home and we're about to get ready to get my son from school. So I just wanted to do this quick video before I left. I might have to finish it when I come back, but I've just been going through an emotional afternoon. So yeah, it's been a lot going on. I have been kind of keeping something to myself, but I feel like right now I'm at a point where I'm ready to open up about it. I'm ready to fully speak on what I've been dealing with for the past couple years. So for those who don't know, I come from abusive childhood. My mom was or is a narcissist. I decided to open up about her abuse a couple years ago to my family, to social media, which took a lot out of me to even speak on it because I've been keeping it to myself for years. And even the people that was closest to me, even when I tried to open up about it to them, they kind of took it as a joke or kind of used it against me to try to belittle me or try to make me feel less than. But I'm just at a point right now that I'm ready to speak my truth. I'm ready to open up. I'm ready to release what I've been holding in because it's a lot on me. It's been weighing a lot on me and I'm getting emotional even talking about it, but I'm trying not to get emotional. So I just feel like right now is the right time to open up about it because I want to, speak my truth so that I can release what, has been weighing me down, and maybe there's others that, kind of been through what I've been through. But I just feel like I'm making this video so I can look back on it and say, I told me, I told me that we was gonna get through this. And just document my journey through this because I've been doing so much. I have been having so much progress that I feel like right now, this is just another part of my journey when it comes to this. This is another chapter that is about to close, but I still need to put the finishing details. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I grew up in a toxic, abusive household. My mom is a narcissist, and I decided to speak out on my abuse a couple years ago. So with that, my mom always felt like that she can control me. When I left her house, it was a very turmoil situation. I had to literally fight my way out. And when I left, she told me that I was always gonna need her. And from that day on, I knew that her motive was to control me. And it was always to control me. So I had to learn to take my power back. I had to learn to parent myself. I had to learn to know what's love and what's not love, because she has a habit of love bombing. And, as the only daughter, you want a relationship with your mother. Like, who doesn't want a relationship with their mother? You know what I'm saying? But once I knew that she didn't want me to grow in my personal life, just in when it comes to like any area of my life, financially, emotionally, she didn't want me to grow. She just wanted me to be under her control. I had to learn that I had to distance myself. I had to break away from this toxic cycle that I have with her. So back in 2020 is when, I think it was 2020. 2020, I got my apartment. 2020, 2021. Okay, so 2021, I moved into my apartment. Okay. And mind you, I'm coming from the shelter, so me being in my own apartment out here in the Bronx is new to me. So I was still adjusting to being in the Bronx and not, being where I'm like used to. So I allowed her to come help me like fix up my place or whatever. I don't think she really did anything. I don't remember her really fixing up anything. At the time, I think it was just my dad there. It was me, her, my dad, and my 2 kids, right? So basically, she came over, right, with my dad, and she was talking mess the whole time. Like, literally talking mess the whole time while she's in my new place, the place I'm in now. Just moving in from the shelter. This is a new start for me, and you're in my place talking mess about me to a man who has never been in my life, who has never been a father in my life. But you want to talk about me in my place that I worked for? So that was the beginning of me realizing this lady is really toxic, bro. Like, really freaking toxic. Like, there's something really not right in the head. Like, who goes to their daughter's house with an absentee father trying to rekindle their relationship by talking about the daughter to the father? Like, who does that? Like, so she came to my house, was talking mess the whole time. I had to leave my own house. Because I didn't want to be around her. I didn't want a problem in front of my kids. And I didn't want a problem in front of him. Like, bro, like, this is the first time you ever, like, been interacting, like, in my setting. This is the first time you've ever been in my territory. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that I have to go out of my way to make y'all comfortable. He's over there talking. He's watching CoComelon. So the fact that I have to try to sit here and make y'all comfortable in my territory when you haven't even been in my life is bananas to begin with. So I had to leave my house before I made a scene. He calls me back. My dad calls me back like, oh, you should just come in and we'll talk about it when we get in the house. I'm like, I don't want to be around that lady. He's like, oh, so he was basically just like, oh, we'll talk about it when we get in the house. So when I got back into the house, I tried to brush it off, right? So they're about to leave or whatever. There was nothing really to talk about. I was basically telling him, listen, I don't have the best relationship with this lady, and that's what you need to understand. Goes through one ear, out the other. This is why I say, like, when it comes to me having parents, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, dumb and dumber. Like, why, when they was about to leave, right, my mom goes, oh, I'm hungry. He gave me money. He gave me $50, right? For me, right? He gave me $50 for me. I'm just moving, right? Just moving in, right? She goes, I'm hungry. Turns to me and says, oh, do you want to order pizza with the money I just gave you? I said, no. He goes, oh, you should use that money to order something to eat. Because she said she wanted something to eat. A grown woman in my home that I just moved into, you want me to come out the money that you just gave to me to support myself while I'm just moving in to feed her? I said, oh yeah. You're out of here. You don't have much up here either. So when I realized that, I tried to distance myself. Like, I really, after that day, I tried to distance myself, but like somehow I just keep trying to give her a chance after chance. So I tried to give her another chance, right? In my head, I'm thinking, oh, even though we don't have the best relationship, I'm gonna try to let her redeem herself with trying to have a relationship with my kids. Worst decision I've ever done. Like, I regret doing that. Like, I don't regret much, but I regret letting her have a relationship with my kids, knowing damn well she didn't treat me well. She treated me like complete shit. I wanted to let her have a relationship with my kids. I regret doing that. Because ever since then, it's been downhill from there. I've been living in complete hell when it comes to her and my children. Okay? So, mind you, we in 2020, right? I'm allowing her to see my kids. One day, I allow her to see my kids for the weekend, right? And back then, my kids used to fight a lot, like a lot, right? To the point where I had to break up fights, you know, between them, because it will get really physical, really chaotic, and really messy really quickly. So, stop. So I had to deal with that on top of dealing with her and trying to allow them to have a relationship with her. So once I realized they're not really, she's not really helping me when it comes to navigating these kids. She's actually making it worse. You know what I'm saying? Because she would talk bad about me to my kids. Matter of fact, when my daughter was 6 years old, and I will insert a video, my daughter said, Grandma said you don't like me. Now, what would conjure up a 6-year-old woman to tell a 6-year-old that her mother don't like her is beyond me. I have no clue what would make her think that it's okay to tell a 6-year-old that I don't like her. At the time, I was in a shelter. I was battling with depression, severe depression, PTSD due to her abuse, right? And this was during the pandemic. So, with all that being said, I had to take all of that into consideration when I started reanalyzing my life. When I got into my own place, I had to reanalyze my life. What is not working for me? Why do I constantly feel in a state of depression? Because I am depressed, okay? During the time, I was depressed, and I was open about that on social media. I was open about that to anybody who was having a conversation with me. I was in therapy, everything, because of the abuse that I went through with my mother, right? So I had to take everything into consideration. And my kids, like I said, my kids were fighting, because this is really important. My kids were fighting, and I had to break them up. right? So it was a fight right before they was about to go with their grandmother. So they got into a fight, right? I had to break it up. They end up falling, right? My daughter ends up getting a knot on her head, on her head, right? Do you know when I allowed them, because when I spoke to her, when she came to pick them up that weekend, I said I had to set some boundaries and reiterate that these are my kids, because I had to keep telling her about herself and trying to tell me what to do about my kids when she doesn't help me with my kids. So I had to continue to tell her, look, these are my kids. You're going to stay in your place as their grandparent and do what you need to do. And that's focus on yourself and be there when needed. But she was never there when needed, right? Never there when needed. When it was actually vocalized when I needed her, she was never there. But let something bad happen. Let something bad happen, and she'll show up and act like she's Captain Save-A-Ho. So yeah, that weekend I let her see the kids. I established my boundary and put order in place, and she didn't like that. She didn't like that. So she didn't like it. She didn't like it. She don't like anybody telling her what to do, but she loves giving everybody orders. That's one thing I noticed about her. So I realized that you have to be really strategic when you say things towards her, and that weekend really solidified that for me, because we had got into an argument, right? And I said, listen, I'm gonna get a restraining order on you. Do you know this lady kidnapped my kids, refused to bring my kids back that weekend, went to the police, right? I'm calling the police. I have a police report saying this lady would not bring my kids back. Saying that she would not bring my kids back. Would not bring my kids back. Right? Then goes to the wait till the weekday, right? Because the police, because that's when I found out that I had a joint custody case with her, because a while ago, right, years ago, when it was just my daughter, and I think she was like 4 or 5, no, she was like 3 or 4, right? I was going to move, right? Had my tickets booked and everything. I was going to move. And this lady persuaded me to go to court with her, to put her on something that, like, on court record saying like, oh, she can take care of my daughter while I move, right? That was the plan. That was what she tried to make it seem like to me. But when I got there, she wanted to make it seem like I'm this crazy person. I need help taking care of my kid. I have anger issues, this, that, and the third. So I went off in the court. I went off. Cause bitch, you're delusional. You just came in here and flipped the whole script. So I went off. Bro, I'm growing up. Like, I'm getting older. Right? You're supposed to be the one teaching me, navigating me through life, and you're over here making it harder for me. Purposely making it harder for me so I don't grow. I don't know nothing. I don't know how to do anything. That's how she wanted me to be, bro. So when I found out that day when I left, when I went off in the court, they told me to leave the courtroom. So I did. I left the courtroom. Because if not, best believe, bro, I would have went off on her. More. Like, more than when I did already. But they told me to leave. I left, right? after I left, this lady gonna come up to me and say, oh, lied, bro, lied. And say, oh, I dropped everything. You don't have to worry about it. I dropped everything. It's okay. Can we move on? Basically trying to butter me up so I can be cool with her again. Cause she know what she did was wrong. But this is what I had to realize for myself. This lady would do things only for her benefit. Nothing that she says, when she says she's gonna help you, don't think she's genuinely trying to help you. Cause she's only doing it for an alternative motive. She's only doing it for something in return. So when I realized that she had a joint custody case, that's when I realized. And at this time, when the police told me, when I was trying to get my kids back from her, from that weekend, I let her see them, and she refused to bring them back. They said, oh, you have to go to court. These are my kids. Now I have to go to court because she lied and said that she dropped everything when she didn't. She actually was granted joint custody and made me. I didn't listen. When she told me to go to court about, putting legal action so she could take care of my daughter, like take her to the doctors and stuff in school until I got situated into where I was moving, right? She made me sign the court documents. I did not read the court documents, right? Did not read the court documents. Didn't know what the court documents said. She just said, sign this paper. And if they said if they asked you, oh, if I gave it to you, if you was given the papers, say that you was given the papers. Not knowing that she can't personally give me the papers herself. She made me write signature on papers that was supposed to be given to me by somebody else. So back to when I called the police and made the report, right? They said I had to go to court to get my babies back because of the joint custody, right? So we're in court. We get to court, everything. I'm gonna do a separate video for that court situation, but basically she took me to court, lied to the court, said I was abusing my kids. Lied and said I was abusing my kids. So she lied and said I was abusing my kids and that they didn't want to be with me, right? So they granted her temporary custody, right? This is 2020. 2021. I gotta look back. I'm not really good with dates, y'all, but 2021, they gave her temporary custody. So amongst that, right? She's harassing me, still harassing me, calling my ex-husband, my ex-husband at the time, we were still together at the time. She's calling my ex-husband, asking me how I'm doing, like worried about what I'm doing, trying to get in my business, like stole my daughter's social security so she could file taxes. And this was when the stimulus was coming around. She stole the stimulus money. So she was using my daughter's information to take the taxes and all that stuff. And it was just a whole lot going on. A whole lot. My daughter, I suspect my daughter was taken advantage of while over there. And I'm telling you, when I say the court system did not give a fuck about what I was telling them, They didn't give a fuck. I had my family members speak on my behalf, write letters on my behalf, because they know, like, I expressed before everything got taken to court. I expressed to one of my family members what was going on. So before it even got to the court, I'm over here trying to seek help from my family members. No. You think I got help from my family members? No. They're over here enabling her behavior. One minute they want to talk about her and say, oh, that she does stuff, dirty stuff to them, and then the next minute they enabling her, taking pictures, smiling in pictures, like, no. No. So we go to court, everything. I literally had to fight for my kids because my lawyer wasn't representing me how I wanted to. I had to get in his ass more than one time. Like, more than one time. When I tell you, these lawyers, if you're not paying that good money, they're there strictly for the court. On behalf of the court. Not behalf of you, behalf of the fucking court. Because I did all the fighting. I'm the one who got my kids back, not my fucking lawyer. Okay? So, I fought in court to get my kids back. Full custody, right? And they granted her visitations, right? So, fast forward to now, right? She's still overstepping her boundaries. She stalks my social media, stalks my social media. She be asking my kids, what's going on in my house? What do I be doing what do they be doing? What do I be doing when I'm at the house? Or just trying to get information in my house. Like, really trying to make it hard for me to coexist with her. You know what I'm saying? She keeps trying to make it seem like, oh, you're my daughter, I'm always gonna be in your life. That's an obsession, bro. Like, at this point, she's obsessed with me. Like, if you really know our history, this lady has to constantly tell me what to do. She has, like, an obsession with trying to tell me what to do, how to wear, how to look, how to talk, how to this, how to that. Bro. And now that I'm growing up into my own person, she's trying to do everything like me. Literally, like, everything like me. If I do something for my kids, if I get balloons for my kids, right? Which she don't, for our birthdays, we ain't get no party. Let me tell you, the reason why I go so hard about my kids and their birthdays and stuff and doing stuff with them is because my mom didn't give a fuck about doing special shit for us. She didn't go out her way to make me feel good about doing anything. Everything she did was to make herself look good. If we did have parties back then, it was to make herself look good. Look what I'm doing for my child. But once we got of age, she did not give a fuck. Basically, figure it out on your own. So birthdays, we only got a cake and a happy birthday and a card with like $20, $25. Whoa, right? But like, she sees me going hard for my kids. So I will do things for my daughter. And I would get balloons. I would get a nice dress. I would do things like that. This lady thinks it's a competition of who can do for these kids better. So she would try to outdo me with something I already did. So once I realized, listen, this visitation is not doing any good for my kids at this point, because now they're seeing what she's doing, and it's becoming conflicted for them because now they have to be in the middle. And my thing is, these are my kids, bro. These are my kids. If you weren't there for your own kids, why the fuck do you go so hard trying to be in my kid's life? For what? For what? To take advantage? Because that's all it's always been. She like having my kids around because she like when people give stuff to her. People only give stuff to her is only for my kids. They give stuff to her because of my kids. So, and when they do get stuff, she tells them, oh, it stays over there. When they get money, oh, it stays over there. It stays over there. Everything that was given to them stays over there. That sounds very strategic to me. It's like, it sounds like you're plotting on their stuff. She doesn't buy my kids clothes. She doesn't buy my kids anything. She only does for my kids when somebody does for her. She only does for my kids to make it seem like she's doing for my kids. It's not because she wants to do for my kids. No, she wants to put on a facade like she cares about my kids, right? So, once I realized I'm tired of all this facade, I'm tired of the whole facade. I'm tired of everything. I'm just tired, bro. My kids aren't happy. My kids are like refusing to go with her. I took it out of my way to file, to modify the to modify the court order. I remember now what made me really go on my way to file is because like during the school year, last year my son was going through a very tough time in his old school, and instead of being there to help, like she claims that she does so much, she befriended the principal, who was negatively talking about my kids, negatively talking about me, negatively talking about the whole situation just to make herself look good and her staff look good. She decided to befriend the principal because the principal didn't like me. And it's another thing. My mom loves buddying with people who don't like me. She loves it. She loves when other people don't like me. She loves befriending people who don't like me, and then she'll flaunt it in my face. So this was another occasion. She befriended the principal. She befriended the principal, and then forced her way into my daughter's graduation. So basically, I didn't want her to go to my daughter's graduation. My daughter didn't want her to go to the graduation. She manipulated my daughter to allow her to go to the graduation. Even when she didn't get a ticket, she still called the principal, who she was buddy up with, and and got herself into the graduation. So that's when I'm like, oh no, I'm done. I filed before the graduation came, but once I realized my son is going through a lot of neglect in the school, I spoke about what was his situation and stuff, and even after they kind of allowed him to go through what he was going through because of their spite for me. So to see that you sat there and allowed them to disrespect me and your fucking grandkids, You think I'm gonna allow you to be in their life after that? No. So God has been telling me I had to cut her off. You know what I'm saying? After all this, I feel like God put me through this. God gave me this mother so he can show me my strength, right? So he can show me that I don't need to be dependent on anybody but myself. And she was always the type of person to be like, oh, well, you're always gonna need me. You're always gonna need me. You're always gonna need me. But I had to realize for myself, no, I don't. I don't always need you. I don't need your support. No, you're not helping me. You know what I'm saying? I had to realize the help that she was giving me was not helping me. It was helping herself. You know what I'm saying? It was helping her own benefits at the end of the day. I no longer see the situation as a burden, as much as of a burden as it was before, because I've grown so much. Like, so much, y'all. Y'all don't understand. So much. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally. I've grown so much. So now I know how to navigate myself through the situation because I separated myself from the problem. I feel like if I was still in her house, under her roof, I mentally would not be where I am today. Tarot readings, astrology, all that stuff, she did not like. She did not like it. But if she did her own research, she would know there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. Instead of scrutinizing me, you should have educated me. You know what I'm saying? But she did it. I would not be who I am today if it wasn't for me leaving her house. I would not be who I am today if it wasn't for me finding myself by myself. You understand me? It was to a point where I had to take a break from therapy because I feel like I'm being more of a therapist for the therapist than she's being a therapist for me. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was in therapy. I feel like I'm always the one giving advice to somebody. And when I realized that, I realized I have the power of influence. This is everything that happened in my life. I understood why it occurred. Because it was testing my strength in myself, within myself. Because, bro, when I say emotionally, mentally, I was not there. When I was living in her home, I wouldn't even take showers. I literally would just walk out the door. As soon as she started her arguments, as soon as she started talking her shit, I walked out the fucking door. No, I'm not perfect, right? No, I'm not the perfect mom. But what I do is put my kids first. And that's something she has never fucking done. Something she has never fucking done. And she's jealous of that. She's jealous. I had to realize my mom is jealous of me. God wanted me to see that my mom was jealous of me. What would she be jealous of? She's this, she has that, right? It's my heart. It's my energy. It's my light. It's my attraction. It's my attention. Everything that I have done for myself was done without her help. And that's why she's mad. That's why she's mad. Because I no longer need her. I no longer need her. I'm no longer allowing her to control me, to disrespect me, to belittle me. When my daughter had her graduation, my daughter told me that she was body shaming her. Body shaming her. She bought her a dress that was too small for her. She told her she needs to drink water for 7 days. A 10-year-old. She told my 10-year-old that she needs to drink water for 7 days so she can lose some weight. Bitch, is you good? Is you cool, bitch? But you don't see nothing wrong with that. You don't see nothing wrong with that. I had to realize I can't make other people change. I had to realize I cannot make other people see how I see things. I see things from a mental standpoint. I see things from a spiritual standpoint. I had to realize I cannot think with my emotions anymore. Because my emotions is the reason why I'm getting in trouble all the time. Because I had a big heart for my mom. She constantly took that as a chance to disrespect me and take advantage of me. Every time I had that soft spot for her, she took advantage of me. So now here we are today, right? I filed that petition. And I realized this was the start of taking my power back. Taking my power back. Taking my power back. Because time and time again, she thought that she can take control over me and do what she wanted to do just because she gave birth to me. I said no more. And I filed that petition. So today, they elaborate because my kids talk to their lawyers. And she's been dodging me serving her for a while. And it's funny because when she was when she was taking me to court, she had no problem talking mess about me, going around having a smear pancake, told my grandfather, went down south, I'm about to get emotional, told my grandparents that I'm abusing my kids. That's the last thing my grandfather knows of me, bro. You went down south talking hella shit about me. Bro. Went down south, bro. All because I talked about my childhood. My abuse in her home. You went down south and told my grandparents I was abusing them. So that was the last thing my grandfather knew of me. Yes, I spoke to him. But of course, that's his daughter. You know what I'm saying? He's going to take his daughter's side regardless. But my grandfather never stopped showing love to me. And that's why it was hard for me to find out that I was not invited because of her. I was not invited to my own grandfather's funeral because of her. Because of her, bro. Because of her, bro. It was time after time after time. I'm done hurting, bro. I'm done feeling like I'm trapped. Like I'm a prisoner of my own life. Because you think because you birthed me, you can treat me any type of way? Talk to me any type of way? Talk about me any type of way? So back to today, bro. They elaborate, right? On everything. They talk to my kids. They tell them what my kids said. They said they don't want to go with her. right? My kids don't want to go with her because they see how she is. The nerve of her to say, this is a defamation of my character. Because I'm not going to say too much of what happened. But she had the nerve to say, this is a defamation of my character. But it was no problem when I was going through this court situation. There was no problem you going to the police and lying to the court, saying I'm abusing my kids, saying that my kids live with you. And they don't feel safe in their home. It was no problem for you talking shit about me, but when it's the truth about you, the difference is between me and her is what I'm stating is facts, bro. Nothing is made up. I don't have time to talk shit about people, to create lies about people and talk shit about people all day. I don't have the time. I don't have the time. But this lady constantly has my name in her mouth. Constantly finds way to try to belittle me and try to discourage me from anything that I do in my life. And discourage anybody from seeing me in a positive light. I'm tired, bro. So when I heard her say, oh, this is a defamation of my character, girl, I almost lost it. Right? And the reason why I was so emotional today is because I'm thinking, okay, they talked to my kids because the judge was like, before we make a ruling, blah, 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 we need to talk to the kids. I'm like, all right, so they talk to the kids. This is going to be, so I'm thinking this is going to be over with. Because literally, I really hate the court system. I really do. But I would have never been in this situation if it wasn't for her. If it wasn't for her. Not being a fucking grown-up. Acting her fucking age. And learn when somebody just wants to be left alone. You know what I'm saying? Learn how to respect somebody's boundaries. But listen. I had to learn. Listen, it's not happening to you. It's happening for you. Right? Because lately, I've been really creative. I've been really getting a lot of downloads from Spirit. Really, just really navigating how to deal with my emotions better. And I just been, in my heart, I just been feeling like it's time for me to express myself more creatively. And because I always felt like I never had nobody to talk to, even now, I still feel like I don't really have many people to talk to, because even on me being married, my husband does not understand what I'm going through, right? Because he comes from a 2-parent household, right? Where everybody still lives with their parents where he's from until they, God knows how long, until they feel like leaving the house, right? He doesn't relate to me getting kicked out every 5 fucking minutes since the age of fucking 12, 13. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't understand that. What happens in America is way different than his country. You know what I'm saying? Out here, they don't give a fuck about us. Everybody's literally fending for themselves. But out there, they're all about marriage and family unit and doing things together and sticking together. I can't relate to that. So it's like hard for me to have a conversation about what I'm going through to him, because he's one of those people that be like, but that's your mother. I can't keep reiterating like, this is not the type of relationship I want with my mother. This is not normal. This is not how a mother-daughter relationship is supposed to be. He don't understand that. He don't understand that we don't move how they move out there. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you do need to cut people off. You do need to distance yourself. He thinks everybody's all lovey-dovey, everybody your friend. I had to learn the hard way. You know what I'm saying? And I'd rather be the sacrificial lamb. Cool. You know? And because of everything I went through, I realized God wanted me to know how strong I am because of everything I got over and been through. And this is just another chapter. This is just another obstacle that I'm going to get through. How I feel like it's going to serve me and my children healthy, abundantly, and according to divine plan. Okay? I would have gotten really, 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 really sad. Five years ago, me. 5 years ago, me. Okay? Me 5 years ago. Okay. Me 5 years ago. But it got really, really sad at this point. And yes, I cried a little bit. Yes, I'm still kind of emotional because I keep going back and back and back and back. But this is why I'm putting it on camera. I'm okay with the chapter I am at in my life right now. I think God has given me the tools to navigate myself emotionally. Emotionally, I would have been not good, okay? Like, really not good, okay? Because I used to be really, unalive, constantly going through my brain. That's how I used to be. But now, I take it as God is just giving me another test. To test my strength. To test my loyalty to Him. And my trust in Him. Knowing that no matter what I'm going through right now, to trust in Him. To make sure everything moves how it needs to move. And if you, from my hometown, if you know of her, if anybody is watching this and they do know my situation, just give me grace. Okay? Give me grace. And when it comes to her, it's done. Like, it's dead ass fuck you. For life. You know what I'm saying? It's no coming back from this. It's too much has been done. Too much has been done to me for me to allow this lady to come back in my life and be like, everything's okay. It's too much hurt being done during the process. I never go out my way to intentionally hurt anybody. But she's very devious. Very devious. Very devious. And then on top of that, I have to sit there and act like everything's okay when it comes to her still seeing my kids. Which is why it's so hard for me. And it's like, I know people are like, why is she always talking about the same thing that she's always talking about is her, like, if she doesn't want a relationship with her mom, why can't she just stop fucking talking to her mom? This is why I can't stop talking to my fucking mother, okay? If you didn't know now, if you didn't know, now you know, okay? So, I want people to understand, I'm learning. I'm trying to navigate life just like everybody else. I don't have it all together. But it's like when people see me, they think that I do. They think that I do. And maybe it's because I present myself a certain way on social media, and I don't allow my hurt to be seen in me, or I don't want to like come off that way. But I want people to know I am human just like everybody else. Okay? I go through stuff just like everybody else. But what I'm learning is this is just another chapter. Nobody's life is perfect. You're gonna go through obstacles. But you have to really analyze what is happening in your life and why you're going through what you're going through. God has me going through this because he knows emotionally I could not fend for myself. Emotionally, I was codependent. Emotionally, I was not where I needed to be. Mentally, I was not where I needed to be. But going through all of this, knowing that spiritually I have support, and even though my husband may not understand fully, he's still there to comfort me when needed. And if I need somebody, if I really need help, I can call on him. God wants me to know that I'm going to be okay, no matter what is going on in the present moment. When you're about to go into some good shit, there's going to be something that happens right before that good shit comes. And God wants you to see that. God wants to see, right? God wants you to see that. Have you really grown? God wants you to understand the lessons he's given to you. So if you're still doing the same thing, if you're still going through the same thing, that means you have not learned what you went through. And there's something that you need to change. What is it that you need to learn? What is it that I need to change? What do I need to focus on to make a change? You know what I'm saying? So take my situation, take me as an example. I kept allowing my mom back into my life, right? Knowing that God said, listen, this lady does not have any good intuition. Good intentions towards you. And I'm gonna give you a scenario. You know how they say karmic relationships, right? When you come into a karmic relationship, is you have that relationship come to you because it's basically the universe testing you to see if you like learned what you need to learn. You know, did you really do the work to make a progress from where you was before, right? So my mom is a karmic relationship to me, right? She is very karmic to me. So what my lesson is, learning independency, you know, learning how to be independent for myself, learning how to navigate life for myself, because at a time I was dependent on her. You know, I did rely on her for a lot of things because she made it that way. You know, she made it to the point where, oh, you're going to rely on me for this. You're going to need me. She brainwashed me to think that I cannot make it on my own. I don't have no help. I can't do it without help. You know what I'm saying? But I'm always covered. I'm always protected. I'm always spiritually. I had to spiritually understand that I had to let go of that soft spot that I had for her and realize it's time for me to make a life for myself. It's time for me to make a life that suits me, that resonates with me, that makes me feel happy, you know? So if you feel like you're going through something, if you feel like you're at a point in your life where it's a reoccurring cycle and you just living the same life over and over and over again, figure out why you feel the way you do. And if God has been giving you a calling and you have not been doing what he's called you to do, why aren't you doing it? What is stopping you from fulfilling what God is calling you to do? What is making you delay in your process of self-awareness and self-growth? These are the things you have to ask yourself. If you feel like you keep going through the same thing over and over and over again, right? You keep going through the same relationships over and over again. You keep going through the same problems over and over again. Jobs over and over again. What are you doing that you feel like you aren't doing? Because I feel like God always tells us what we need to do. God was telling me cut people off in my life. What is God telling you to do? You know what I'm saying? What is God telling you to pursue in order to grow in your life? Sometimes you have to be alone. Sometimes you have to quit that job. Sometimes you have to stop drinking. Sometimes you have to stop puffing, okay? To realize, oh, maybe that's why God wanted me to stop being around that person. Maybe that's why God wanted me to leave that job. Because sometimes it be in the midst of chaos that you get the most messages. So, if you didn't take anything from this, please, I want you to take this. I want you to realize there's better. Okay? There's better. There's more. Don't settle for less. And if God is telling you to pursue something, you should pursue it. If God is telling you to cut that person off, you should cut them off. If God is telling you to leave that job, you should leave that job. Maybe it's going to be hard, especially when it comes to a job. It's going to be hard. You're going to be like, how am I going to make money? Don't worry about that. Just know that God is going to navigate how everything's supposed to be navigated. Okay? If you don't take anything, take the fact that sometimes it takes us being hard-headed to get the answers that we're looking for. We're not, life is, I'm really realizing like life is literally a test to test us, to build us stronger mentally, emotionally, in all aspects in our life. And it be those obstacles that you think that is gonna be your last ending, or your last is gonna break you, that actually builds you up to be 10 times better than you was before. So if you feel like you down and out, you feel like you at your wit's end, just know there's always a better scenario. There's always something at the other side of the tunnel. You may be in the dark right now, but if you just keep pushing through, you're gonna find that light. Okay? So I hope you guys give me grace with this video, because it took a lot for me to even do it. But like I said, if you feel like you don't understand what is going on in your life, you feel that you're at a standstill, look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what can I change? What can I do to make myself and put myself in a better predicament? Because it's nobody else's job but your own to do better for yourself, to want more for yourself. I wish you guys the best, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. And just to add in, I am going to keep y'all posted when it comes to the court situation. So y'all have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Again, what'd you say?
Grandma said that You don't like me.
Oh, really? She slapped me while I had my son in my hand because she wants to be ignorant and start with me every day. As a child, my mom does petty shit like not wash the baby's bottles, and she put this in the refrigerator thinking it was juice. Now imagine if I didn't find that in the refrigerator, or before she even gave it to my daughter, but she wouldn't comment on my plate. That's why I'm moving and doing my own thing. I'm done. It's time for me to go.